participants.
Certainly, Bhaiya, as I go on sharing my experiences every time, I try to contribute in my way. And I mean, after attending all these sessions for, let us say, over the 2 years, and learning a lot of things each time, each and every time a participant asks a question, I have a new perspective. I start looking at things from a new standpoint, I would rather say. So as I go on learning, I will try to contribute my way. And I believe, having attended all these sessions, the previous sessions, instead of wasting my time in otherwise things, I should rather be busy in interacting with people who are a part of UHV now, and those who are going to be a part of UHV in the days to come. And I believe in bettering myself through self-exploration. And as I go on meeting different people, I'm sure I'll be a better human being. And then I'll try to spread this betterment in the society near me, in the society far. Thank you, Via.
Very nice, Bia. So, as you have experiences of attending several sessions, so you can give some comparative idea also about this, like how it is going on. And as you told, the interaction makes the session more beneficial for the participants, and it makes the session more interesting even for the one who is presenting the seminar or who is taking the sessions.
Yes, नमस्ते
जी जी दीदी नमस्ते।
हाँ जी, बहुत ही बढ़िया रहा। मैं 2020 से जुड़ी हुई हूँ और ये इंटरेक्शन भी बहुत बढ़िया है। बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिल रहा है कि सेशन ले रहे हैं रिसोर्स पर्सन्स, वो भी बहुत अच्छी तरह से ले रहे हैं कि हमें हर दिन हर सेशन में नया ही कुछ सीखने को मिल रहा है। और ज्यादा करके इंटरेक्शन और पार्टिसिपेशन से नॉलेज बढ़ रहा। तो जैसे कि हम पहले से जी रहे थे, से अब काफी चेंजेस हैं, ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन हुआ है, काफी कुछ सीखने को मिला है, सब कुछ नया है। आगे आगे बढ़ने के लिए और फ्यूचर में काफी सारी अपॉर्चुनिटी दिखाई दे रही हैं। अभी हम स्टूडेंट्स के लिए भी कर रहे हैं और होलिस्टिक में तो बहुत ही अच्छा रहा। डॉक्टर भैया ने बहुत अच्छा से बताया सब कुछ, बहुत सारी दवाइयाँ आयुर्वेदिक बताई, योगा के प्राणायाम बताए, तो उससे भी काफी कुछ फर्क पड़ता है शरीर में। सेल्फ रेगुलेशन हुआ, सेल्फ अंडरस्टैंडिंग, राइट फीलिंग और राइट ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन हुआ है। तो उससे ही हम आगे बढ़े, तो हम आगे एक्सप्लोरेशन किया, तो आगे भी हम स्टूडेंट्स के लिए भी कर सकते हैं, फैमिली के लिए कर सकते हैं, सोसाइटी के लिए कर सकते हैं। और यही मेरी आपको शुभकामनाएं और के लिए धन्यवाद भैया, बोलने का अवसर दिए।
जी जी जी
धन्यवाद भैया।
ये सेशंस होता है तो हमें भी बहुत चांस मिलता है नए नए चीजों को लर्न करने का, और फिर से लिटरेचर और न्यू जो एडवांसेस हैं वो सबको समझने का, और साथ ही साथ हमें ये भी पता चलता है कि लोगों की क्या नीड है, लोग क्या जानना चाहते हैं हमसे, और एक मेडिकल पर्सन से क्या एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं, ये भी हमको समझने में सहायता मिलती है। और ये तो बहुत ही यूनिक प्रोग्राम है जो कि AICTE ने एजुकेशनल
पहली बार हो रहा है,
पहली बार किया है, बहुत ही यूनिक। और मुझे लगता है कि बाकी के स्ट्रीम्स में भी ऐसा प्रोग्राम्स होना चाहिए। इवन जैसे ये वगैरह है, इसको मैं भी फील करता हूँ कि मेडिकल फील्ड में इसका बहुत ही ज्यादा नीड है, पर शायद आने वाले फ्यूचर में हम देखेंगे कि इंजीनियरिंग के साथ साथ और भी डिसिप्लिन्स में ऐसे प्रोग्राम्स आ रहे हैं।
जी भैया, जी धन्यवाद भैया।
So shall we discuss about the today's topic?
Yes, we should start with today's topic, and if there are any questions in between, then all the attendees are having mic right now, or they may raise their hand if they are not having mic. will be able to life.
जी
Ji bhaiya, we can start with today's topic.
So again, it's a great pleasure for me to meet you all with this online session of Universal Human Health. So 17th of May, we celebrate as World Hypertension Day. So why we celebrate this day is because to create awareness about the blood pressure and to make the people keep their blood pressure under control. So in this today's session, we will discuss about the same thing, that is prevent high blood pressure through healthy lifestyle. So healthy lifestyle helps to keep the blood pressure in healthy range. And hypertension, also known as high or raised blood pressure, is a condition in which the blood vessel have persistently raised pressure. So once a while, if the pressure is high, we do not tag the person as hypertensive. When it is continuously raised, then only we say that the person is having hypertension. So blood is carried from the heart to all parts of the body through the blood vessels. So we know that the heart pumps the blood, and through the blood vessels, it circulates and it reaches to all the organs and all the parts of the body, each and every cell of the body. Each time the heart beats, it pumps the blood into the vessel. So the heart, it continuously beats and it pushes the blood into our blood vessels, and that is how the blood is circulating all over the body. So what is blood pressure? Blood pressure is the force exerted by circulating blood against the wall of the arteries. So when the blood flows, circulates, it creates pressure over the arterial wall. So that is what we say as the blood pressure. So what is high blood pressure or the hypertension? So hypertension is when blood pressure is too high. As the name itself says, that the hypertension, that means the pressure is too much. So when the pressure rises to the normal level, we say that it is high blood pressure, or we say it as hypertension. The higher the pressure, the harder the heart has to pump. So when blood vessels, they are having high pressure, so the blood has to take more effort to push the blood into the arteries, or for the circulating the blood, the heart has to pump harder. So that will also create extra, not only to the blood vessel, but it causes problem to the heart also. And that is what we see, the cardiomegaly, or the increase in the size of the heart. So how to diagnose the person as hypertensive? So hypertension is diagnosed if, when it is measured on 2 different days, the systolic blood pressure reading on both the days is 140 mm of Hg, or the diastolic blood pressure reading on both the days is above 90 mm of Hg. So actually, I told that once a while, if blood pressure is high, we do not say that the person is hypertensive. When twice in a 2 days we measured it, and if the systolic blood pressure, that means when the heart contracts, that is systolic blood pressure, and when heart relaxes, it diastolic blood pressure. So when heart pumps, contracts, and the blood pressure reaches more than 140 mm of Hg, and when it relaxes, that is diastolic blood pressure, when it is above 90 mm of Hg, so that is, we say that it is, the person is hypertensive. And it is measured through the sphygmomanometer, commonly we say as the blood pressure instrument, or the blood measuring instrument. So it is sphygmomanometer, it is called as, and in that we measure. So coming to the epidemiological aspect of this blood pressure, or the hypertension. So nearly 1.13 billion people worldwide have hypertension. So you can understand how huge or what is the magnitude of this problem. An estimated 46% of people with hypertension globally are unaware that they have this condition. That means almost 50% of the people, they are not aware that their blood pressure is high. And so only the blood pressure, high blood pressure is called as silent killer, because it will not give any symptoms. Only when it reaches, it creates some certain problem, maybe some brain stroke or hemorrhage, these kind of issues, then only the person will come to know that his blood pressure was high. And many of the people, they never check blood pressure and they never know that they have high blood pressure. So you can understand even the data which says that 1.13 billion people worldwide have hypertension. The actual situation may be much more higher than what is given here, what figure is given here. And less than half of all adults with hypertension are diagnosed and treated. So that means very few people, because it does not show any symptoms initially. So the people do not go to the doctor, they do not measure their blood pressure. And because the blood pressure is high, it is not diagnosed, they will not take medication, and that is how they will suffer with problems. Just in 1 in 5 adults with hypertension have it under control. So even the people, those who are diagnosed with hypertension, so nearly 80% of the people, their blood pressure is not under control. So only 1 in 5, he take proper medication and he will be aware of keeping his blood pressure under control. And because the blood pressure is continuously high, it will create various complications, and these complications may cause heart attack, stroke, and it may damage the kidney and all the main vital organs. It may have deleterious, or it may have a very damaging effect. So hypertension is a major cause of premature death worldwide. So all over the world, we say that this heart attack and the stroke or the hemorrhage, these all are the brain hemorrhage, these all are the main cause of the death worldwide. And one of the main cause of this is the hypertension, which is not diagnosed, and the person is not taking proper medication and not keeping blood pressure under control. So what are the etiological factors associated or related to the hypertension? So hypertension is, again, in the most of the cases, the etiology is not well known. But still there are certain factors, certain dietary factors, genetic factors, environmental factors, psychological factors, which are related to the hypertension. And these factors we can majorly classified under the modifiable risk factor and non-modifiable risk factors. So what are the modifiable risk factors of hypertension? So that is unhealthy diet. That means excessive of salt intake. Salt, we know, sodium chloride. And when the person is taking excess of this salty food, so that will raise the blood pressure. And the diet which is high in the saturated fat and trans fat. So these diets, they will accumulate inside the arteries, and when the lumen is narrowed, the pressure will be very high. So that is one of the reason. And low intake of fruits and vegetables. So less intake of fruits, vegetables, these things also modifiable risk factor of hypertension. Physical inactivity. So physical inactivity is becoming one of the major cause of all kinds of lifestyle disorders or the non-communicable diseases. And the WHO identifies physical inactivity as the fourth leading cause of disease and death worldwide. So you can understand the people are becoming more and more physically inactive, and that is becoming the cause of several issues, and one such issue is hypertension. So consumption of tobacco, alcohol, and being overweight or obese. So alcohol consumption and tobacco consumption, these all are also the becoming part of the modern days lifestyle. And again, when the people are physically inactive, so they are tend to get weight. So increasing weight or obesity is also one of the modifiable risk factor of hypertension. So what are the non-modifiable risk factor of hypertension? So non-modifiable risk factor of hypertension are increasing age. So especially when the person is reaching to the sixth decade of his life, his or her life, then because of the degenerative changes, because of the hardening of the blood vessels, the elasticity will reduce as the age is progressing. So because of that, there will be increased pressure, and that is why the person is prone to become hypertensive. And some coexisting disease, like the person is suffering with diabetes or some kidney problem, that will also become the cause of hypertension. And again, the genetic factor or the familial connect, or in the family, if father, mother, or the relatives they are hypertensive, the chances of the person having this problem is more or high. So these all are the non-modifiable risk factor of hypertension. Again, there are several medicines which the people buy and they consume liberally without having any prescription over the counter. They purchase it and they take it. And these many such medicines are also cause of increasing blood pressure. So some medicines are like the contraceptive pills. So consuming this, it may rise blood pressure, or the person taking steroids, that will also increase blood pressure. Some of the NSAID, so non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs such as Ibuprofen. So this medicine is very commonly used and it is available over the counter. People buy it whenever they have headache, some fever, or the body pain. They will go and they just buy Ibuprofen, and this becoming the cause of their increased blood pressure. And some of the cold cough medicine like the Sudafed, that is also the cause of increasing blood pressure. And cold cough, whenever the person is suffering with cold and cough, they do not feel to go to the doctor. They just think that I can buy some medicine. Why to go to the doctor? Doctor may ask for several investigation. I have to pay fee. Many such things are there, and they liberally go and they casually, they do not care much. And many times the people consume some medicines for months together. Just they will go, they will buy some suspension or syrup or some tablets, and these kind of buying medicines without having proper knowledge about it may increase blood pressure. And not only this modern medicine, even the herbal medicines, these herbal medicines also require sufficient knowledge to be used. Without proper knowledge, you should not go and buy and think that this is just some plant or this is some herbal things, and without any advice, medical prescription, I can take it. It will not cause any side effect. So that kind of mindset is also wrong. Herbal medicines, they also have adverse effect if it is not taken properly or in a proper dose without prescription. So one simple medicine is licorice, which we commonly say as yashti madhu. So this medicine is also used for this cold and cough. And if it is taken in excess without prescription, so it may cause increased blood pressure. So in such cases, what happens when the person is continuously taking it, it may possible that when blood pressure is measured, the person is having elevated blood pressure. It may be more than 140 and 90. But in all such cases, when the person is stopping the intake of these medicines, the blood pressure come to the normal because the cause is removed. So the blood pressure will also come to the normal range. So who is at the risk of high blood pressure? Sorry. So whether the slide is visible, Bia?
Yes.
Yeah. So who is at risk of high blood pressure? So the age, the male who is crossing fifth decade, and the woman when crossing sixth decade. So they are prone for having hypertension. The person who is overweight or obese, they are also at the risk of suffering with hypertension, or they may develop high blood pressure. And certain lifestyle like eating too much sodium or not taking enough potassium, lack of physical activity, or smoking, taking tobacco in any form. So these all people, they are prone to develop hypertension. And again, the person who is having lack of sleep or sleep deprivation, many of the people, those who are working in BPOs or doing night duties, or the security guard, etc., they are also having lack of proper sleep, so they are also prone for developing hypertension. The people who are not taking enough fruits and vegetables, they are also prone to develop hypertension. And consuming too much coffee or the caffeine based drinks, so that will also create problem of high blood pressure. And there are people who consume coffee for 10 cups, 20 cups, and every half an hour they will drink coffee or some kind of caffeine based energy drinks. So they are prone to develop hypertension. And again, many of the psychological factors, psychological stress, environmental factor, they may also cause high blood pressure. So how to prevent high blood pressure? How we can be free from high blood pressure? So what are the lifestyle measures to prevent from high blood pressure? So eating a healthy diet. So as we know that excess salt intake, it will raise the blood pressure. So we have to aim to reduce our salt intake, and in a day we have to take maximum 5 to 6 gram of salt. So 5 to 6 gram is almost 1 spoon. So we have to reduce, like in a 24 hours we are taking so many things, like some two to three types of curries, dal, or many of the snacks which contain salt. So we have to minimize it, and we have to see that we should not cross this 5 to 6 gram limit. Otherwise, the person may suffer with high blood pressure. And eating a low fat diet that include lots of fiber, such as whole grain, fruits, vegetables, helps to keep the blood pressure under control. So in a diet, we have to minimize the saturated fat, excess fat intake we have to reduce, and we have to include whole grain and fruits, vegetables in our diet. We have to take potassium rich diet, and some examples are like the spinach, cucumber, pumpkin. Most of the leafy vegetables, they have plenty of potassium. And fruits like the banana, orange, dates, grapes, even the papaya, tomato, they also contain enough amount of potassium, and these, including these vegetables, fruits in our diet, that will help us to keep our blood pressure under control. So there are researches, they said that diet therapy has been reportedly proven to be effective in blood pressure control. So there is a term which is used as DASH. So dietary approach to stop hypertension, that we say as the DASH. So this is even proved by the researchers that having a proper diet will help us to keep our blood pressure under control. So maintaining healthy body weight, as we know that the overweight and obese person, they are prone to develop hypertension. So we have to keep our body weight under control. So for the Asian people, this is the BMI index given by the WHO. So the normal weight is 18.5 to 22.9 BMI. So BMI we can easily measure with the weight in kg and height in meter square. So that way we can calculate our BMI, and it should be in between 18.5 to 22.9. So our body weight should be within this range. And if it is reaching to the 23 to 24.9, so that means it is overweight. And if it is reaching 25 to 29.9, it is obesity grade 1. And if it is going beyond 30, the BMI, body mass index, then it is the grade 2 obesity. So overweight, that means for the Asian adults, if they are crossing 23 BMI, they are prone to develop hypertension or the high blood pressure. So again, there are publications, there are researches which say that hence, given the significant result obtained in several recent studies, weight management should always be pursued in obese patient with hypertension. That means the person who is obese and having raised blood pressure, then controlling the weight is one of the key factors of controlling the blood pressure. Only the medication will not be enough. Coming to the normal weight is also essential if we want to reduce the medicine and we do not want to have some complications in future. So we have to be physically active. Already I told that physical inactivity is cause of several non-communicable diseases or several lifestyle problems, or because of our lack of physical activity. So physical activity helps us to keep maintain our healthy body weight, and it also helps us to keep our blood pressure under control. And every person, at least 30 minutes every day, they have to involve in some vigorous physical activity. And in a week, at least for 2.5 hours, they have to be very physically active. So that way they can maintain their ideal body weight, and they can also be free from high blood pressure. So the research also proves, they say that a number of studies consistently demonstrate beneficial effect of exercise on hypertension, with reduction in both systolic and diastolic blood pressure with as much as 5 to 7 mm of Hg. So you can understand that if you have some slight rise of blood pressure, or you are in the initial stage of high blood pressure, so you can easily control it just by involving in enough physical activities. So several publications are there. Many of the researchers, they prove that together the available evidence strongly supports a role of physical activity in the prevention of hypertension. So we can easily be free from hypertension if we are physically active enough. And in a day we have to involve, we have lots of opportunity to involve in physical activity. like just climbing the steps or nearby walking. Going for taking vegetables, we should avoid going by vehicle, we can go by walking. So several ways are there that we can involve in physical activity. Not necessary that we have to keep a separate time just to do the physical activity. In a day itself, we can involve ourselves in lots of physical activity, and that will keep our blood pressure under control. So cutting down the intake of caffeine or the coffee. So tea and coffee is becoming a very common drink for everyone, and a large population in India, they are consuming tea and coffee. So taking one or two small cup of tea or coffee will not cause much issues. So it is fine to have 1 or 2 cup of tea in a small cup of tea. But when the person is taking it frequently, 4 cup, 5 cup, 6 cups of tea, coffee, these things, or some other caffeine based energy drinks like the cola and many other drinks, packaged drinks, so they will cause high blood pressure. So the person, they have to be aware, and to prevent from this high blood pressure, we have to cut down or excess intake of caffeine products. So research says that the coffee ingestion has an acute effect by increasing blood pressure. Ingestion of 2 to 3 cups of coffee increases systolic blood pressure 3 to 14 mm of Hg and diastolic blood pressure 4 to 13 mm of Hg. So you can understand it has acute effect. So just having 2 or 3 cups of coffee can rise blood pressure 3 to 14 mm of Hg. So even the person who is having normal blood pressure, if he is taking excess of tea, coffee or caffeine based product, easily he will reach to the high blood pressure range if he is taking little excess. And there are people, this is the result of just 3 and 4 cup of coffee, but the people are there who takes 10 cups, 12 cups, 15, 20 cups of coffee in a day. So you can understand what will be the situation of their blood pressure if they are consuming such an amount of. So following healthy sleep habits. So sleep is overall required for our health. So not only just for the blood pressure, but for our whole body, because sleep is like it is relaxation and it energizes our whole system. So we all require enough amount of sleep, and in many of the previous sessions, the importance of sleep and sleep hygiene and healthy sleep habits, these all are elaborately discussed by Sundar Bhaiya and many previous speakers. So not getting enough sleep on a regular basis is linked to an increased risk of heart disease, high blood pressure and stroke. So sleep deprivation can have a very damaging effect on our health. So proper sleep, and proper sleep, when I say, it is not just the duration of sleep, but it is also the time of sleep. So like especially in the night time, for 6 to 8 hours, proper sleep is required to keep our body in healthy condition, body and mind both. So we have to follow the healthy sleep habits in our life if we want to be free from the hypertension and other related issues. So the research also says that excess longer and shorter period of sleep may both be risk factor for high blood pressure. These associations are stronger in women than men. So that means excess sleep, that is also not good, and lack of sleep, sleep deprivation is also deleterious for our health. So you have to take 6 to 8 hours of proper sleep in the night time. The day sleep is not the option. The person who is working continuously in the night and having day sleep, that is not the proper way of having sleep. Actually, the night time we have to take proper sleep for 6 to 8 hours. That will keep your blood pressure under control. And if the person is regularly involving in the night awakening, then he may suffer with blood pressure. An important thing is being free from psychological stress. So learning how to relax and manage stress can improve our emotional and physical health and lower high blood pressure. So several techniques are there. India is the country who has given yoga to whole world. So we have to practice yoga. We have to use this ancient wisdom of our seers and make our life much better. So yoga, meditation, yogic relaxation techniques, several techniques are there. Quick relaxation technique, instant relaxation technique, deep relaxation technique. Several yogic techniques are there to relax. Listening to some pleasant music and focusing on something which is peaceful for our mind. So several such activities we can involve to avoid the stress. So that way we can keep our blood pressure under control. So again, several researches are there which say that the healthy lifestyle and following yogic techniques or the yoga, asana, pranayama, meditation, all those things, they helps to keep blood pressure under control. And not only for the non-hypertensive, even for the hypertensive and pre-hypertensive person, these techniques are very helpful. So again, here this research article, it concluded that the yoga therapy has shown to be significant in the reduction of systolic and diastolic blood pressure in pre-hypertensive population. So yoga is having lots of benefits. This is just one of it, that it will help to keep the blood pressure under control, but it will have overall effect on our body in every system. Physically, mentally, it will help us to maintain our ideal health condition. So these are in brief about how we can keep our blood pressure under control. So the key lies in following our traditional habits and lifestyle. Tibia, if anyone is having any participant, they have any question, they can ask about this topic or any other topic also.
Namaste. This is Dr. Jagadish from Madanpalli Institute of Technology and Science. I am audible?
Yeah, Jibia, please.
So you have explained all the factors that lead to hypertension and the remedies to control or prevent. What about the sounds, like the traffic or the sounds beyond the intensity of sound is affecting this hypertension? Is there any studies on that high intense horns in traffic will increase the hypertension, such kind of thing?
Yeah, actually there are studies which say that psychological stress can psychological stress is associated with hypertension. So the very high pitch sound that may create some psychological stress, and in that way it is becoming cause for the hypertension. As in the session I mentioned that the listening to the soothing music, so that will relax your mind. So again, when the music is very of not pleasant or very high pitch sound, So that may cause psychological stress, or that may create tension, and that will again affect our blood pressure. So we have to avoid this noisy area or noisy place.
Thank you, Dr. Ji.
Yes, now all the attendees are welcome to ask their questions if they are having any queries. Akhilesh Bhaiya is there to answer your queries. Settle down.
Shashikant ji in the chat box, he wrote about how can one reduce taking BP tablet if taking now. Okay, the person who is already diagnosed with hypertension, so one important thing is he has to regularly check his blood pressure, because already I told, when blood pressure rising, it may not give any symptom. The person may not be aware that my blood pressure is too high, and it may damage, it may create brain hemorrhage, or we say there is stroke, or it may cause any other serious issue. So the one important thing is he has to always keep watch of his blood pressure, and how he can reduce his medicine is again the things lies with healthy lifestyle, healthy dietary pattern, healthy sleep habits, involving in yoga, meditation, such kind of activities that will help us. Like I told, that even taking the caffeine, if the person is taking 3 to 4 cup of coffee in a day, that may increase it, that may shoot up his blood pressure to almost 10 mm of Hg. So we have to see what kind of dietary pattern, what kind of lifestyle the person is following, and we can make a plan, like what are the healthy items he can include, the dietary items he can include, and that way, by keeping regular watch on his blood pressure, we can gradually reduce his medicine. Without having proper check, do not cut down your medicine your own.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Yeah, namaste, madam. Namaste, doctor. I have a doubt, sir. If you permit me, I may put forward,
Please,
sir.
please, sir.
Yes, sir. The BP levels depends upon the age also, sir.
Yeah.
That is 30 or 40 or 50, 60, young and old.
See, the previous theories were there, and it was like 80 plus your age. So like a person who is of 70 years of age, the previous theory says that 80 plus your age.
Excuse me, I can't listen some disturbance background, sir.
No, there is no background sound.
Yes.
Audible.
Yeah. Good, madam. Please, continue, sir.
These all previous theories were there, sir, but
Yeah.
these all theories are not existing now. Now the blood pressure range is, once you are crossing 130 and 80 mm of Hg.
Sir.
If your blood pressure is more than 130 and 80, so you are having high blood pressure. Maybe you are of 60 or 70 years of age, doesn't matter. So if it is crossing this level, then you have to be aware, and you have to consult your doctor, and you may require antihypertensive medicine.
Okay.
Yeah. So previously this was the concept that the 80 plus your age, and even previously it was that 100 plus your age. That means 80 plus 60. If the person of 60 years of age was theory, it was considered that 140 is normal for this person.
Yes,
But
sir.
now those all concepts are removed, and recent blood pressure range which I shown you, that is from the WHO, and there are several research publications are there which says that crossing 130 and 80 mm of Hg are hypertensive. So you have to keep your blood pressure at 120 and 80 mm of Hg. 120 and 80, that is the normal range.
Yes, sir. I came to know that
120 is systolic and 80 mm of Hg is diastolic blood pressure.
It is said that people of 50 plus, 140 by 90 is normal, they say, sir. Hello? Hello?
Ji.
Yeah. People 50 plus, 140 90 is normal.
Yeah, please, sir.
Sir. People of above 50 or 60 plus, 140 by 90 is normal.
No, sir. It is not normal. If it
Yes,
is reaching 140 and 90, they are in the hypertension range.
Oh,
it should be below 130.
Good, sir. Yes, sir. And one more question, sir, because of these days, work pressure and family problems, tensions, usually people will have some hypertension, sir.
Yeah. Actually, these all are the contributing factors which are associated with hypertension.
Yes, sir.
Like, there are several theories which says that these all things may cause hypertension. So some theories are, like I already told, that the progressive age.
Yes, sir.
When the person is crossing 5th decade or 6th decade, there will be natural some changes in our body.
Yes, sir.
That will cause hardening of our blood vessels.
Sir.
Hardening of blood vessel, that means the elasticity is reduced. So when elasticity is reduced, the pressure is raised there. So that means the blood which is flowing there, it will create more pressure on the arterial wall, because the wall has become hard or the elasticity is reduced. So
narrow.
these are the age-related factors, and these age-related factors are non-modifiable. That means you cannot stop aging. You will gradually. But in that condition also, if you are following healthy dietary pattern, you are physically active.
Yes. And
you are not involved, you are taking proper sleep, not involved in alcohol or tobacco, all those things. So still you can maintain a healthy blood pressure range. There is, it is not that person who is crossing 50, 60, definitely he will get hypertension. This is not the rule. Only people, those who are not following healthy dietary pattern, not physically active enough, they will develop this problem.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I understand, sir. So the blood vessels become very narrow, sir, where blood flow is not good, not smooth. That I want to know.
Yeah, actually, when the blood
Akhilesh bhaiya got disconnected bhaiya. You must be reconnecting him for us now. Ji Akhilesh bhaiya.
So
where you
with
have
the
got
progressive age, with the progressive age, what happens is
sir.
the arterial wall that become hard, and because of the accumulation of told that the high fatty diet, etc. So what
Yes.
happens is these all high cholesterol or the bad cholesterol that we make a layer inside our arterial wall,
Yes, sir.
and that extra layer which create, it will narrow the lumen
Yes.
of
Sir. Yes, yes. Yeah. Thank you, sir, for clarification, sir.
Thank
Excuse
you,
me,
Bhaiya.
sir.
Ji, Lata ma'am, please. Lata di?
Can I ask?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, thanks. Sir, is there any food or some exercise to have good sleep? Good sleep. How can we get?
See this. Yeah. So actually, the sleep will come when the person is having some physical and mental tiredness both. So the person who is physically active, he will have healthy sleep, sound sleep in the night. The person who is not physically active, he will have healthy sleep. So involving in physical activities will also help us to have sound sleep in the night. And again, the diet, the intake of caffeine or any stimulants. So if we are taking coffee in the night, so that will again create problem for our initiation of sleep, because it is a stimulant. And taking some alcohol, smoke, all those things, or very this aggressive sound or some high pitch sound or psychological stress, these all are becoming several cause for our lack of sleep. So we have to be free from all these factors, and at least 1 hour before sleep we have to avoid using of laptop, mobile, or some bright screen. So that all will help us to have sound sleep in the night.
It will add to the quality of our sleep.
Yeah.
Really get it.
And
At
good
least 1 hour.
quality of sleep is very much required.
Ji, Bhaiya.
Yeah.
I think
Got
her answer.
Shashank asked that 120. Yeah, this is normal. 120, 70, 110, 70. This is normal. And the low blood pressure is when the person is blood pressure is 160. Below that, it is low blood pressure. And low blood pressure he can easily make up with some drink. Like you can have lemon juice or some even some orange juice. These juice you can have and the blood pressure will come to the normal. Some fluid intake will help us, like simple ORS solution, that will also help to rise to bring the low blood pressure into the normal range if it is going below 160.
Ji, Bhaiya. Can it be a condition that somebody is having 80? That means this side low normal and other side 130 or above?
Yeah, it is possible that one person is having 130 and 80, but if it is crossing 130 and 80, then he is reaching to pre-hypertensive stage. So suppose if the person is having 135, 85, so that means he is now in pre-hypertensive stage. And if it is crossing 140 and 80, he is tagged with hypertension. But once a while, if it is raised, he will not be diagnosed with hypertension. At least twice it has to be checked. And if in the both the time if the blood pressure are high and there are no other reasons, like I told that there are certain medications which will rise the blood pressure. If the person is not taking these all medications and still his blood pressure is high, then he requires medication for keeping his blood pressure under control.
Ji, Bhaiya. Manik Majumdar ji had also raised hand in between sometime. If there is some question from you, sir. Vinod Gupta ji too had raised. Vinod Gupta Bhaiya ji, you too had raised.
यस जी टाइम। नमस्ते सभी को।
नमस्ते भैया।
हाँ, मेरी आवाज पहुंच रही है ना? अब तो मेरे को रिस्पॉन्स मिल गया जी। तो बहुत अच्छा लगा और ये जानकारी मिलकर के कि पहले का जो मान्यता थी कि एज प्लस 80, तो नॉर्मल कोर्स में मेरा जो ब्लड प्रेशर है वो 110 प्लस माइनस और नीचे वाला जो है 70 प्लस माइनस रहता है, और पल्स
नॉर्मल रेंज
करीब करीब 60-62 के आसपास पल्स भी इंडिकेट करते हैं। वो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक से मेजर करते हैं। और आपने इसमें अपने इंडिकेशन में होलिस्टिक हेल्थ वाले में इंडिकेट किया हुआ है, एप्पल का फोटो, एक्सरसाइज भी दिखाई हुई है, और साथ में ईसीजी वाला पैटर्न भी दिखाया है, पीक्यूआरएस वाला। तो कोशिश ये करते हैं थोड़ा फिजिकल एक्सरसाइज हो। मेरी एज जो है 70 प्लस है और मैं साइकिलिंग भी करता हूँ once a day फॉर सम टाइम, और नेचुरली यूएचवी की एक्टिविटी में भी पार्टिसिपेट करने का रहता है। और कुछ पेड़ पौधों के आसपास, क्योंकि कोरोना वाले फेज ने ये भी सिखाया कि ऑक्सीजन के लिए इतनी ज्यादा मारामारी हुई तो हमारा कंट्रीब्यूशन क्या है, तो प्लांट को लगाना और औषधि के प्लांट्स लगाने की कोशिश करते हैं। तो और जो भी अवेलेबल स्पेस है और पौधों में पानी लगाना और ये सब करना, थोड़ा फिजिकल एक्सरसाइज उससे होती है। एंड से और लर्निंग इज ए लाइफ लॉन्ग जर्नी, तो दूसरों को भी करते हुए देखते हैं और दूसरे हमको करते हुए देखते हैं, तो हमारे ऊपर होते हुए देखते हैं, तो लोगों को अच्छा लगता है एंड दे ट्राई टू फॉलो। और
बहुत ही अच्छा भैया।
थैंक यू फॉर योर शेयरिंग।
थैंक यू दीदी, अच्छा लगा। नमस्ते।
नमस्ते भैया। अशोक बेहरा जी।
हेलो। हाँ, हेलो दीदी, नमस्ते। Yeah, दीदी नमस्ते to all. So sir, I am little hypertensive and I am from pharmacy background. So I want to share that how I am managing this thing, basically. So my height is 5'4" I was little overweight, near about 72 kilos. So this lockdown I reduced near about 10 kilos, and so as a result my blood pressure has fallen down, then comes to the normal. Then sometimes due to the stress I supposed to face this hypertension. From 2013 I have got hypertension, but till yet I have not taken a single allopathic medicine. But I used to manage in the Ayurvedic medicine, and as a pharmacist, I know that there is no any cause one can, because it says that it may be asymptomatic also. When a person, and one more thing, that blood pressure may vary. If someone is running, so blood pressure may increase also. When someone is depressed, so blood pressure may fall down also. So it depends on totally. If a person is comfortable, then it's not an issue. But if a person is, headache is there and his palpitation is there, then it's an issue. So, there one should not take a free salt or addition of white salt to the food, extra salt. That is a big culprit. And the spices like if you will take some achar, that contains huge amount of salt. So that has to be avoided. And if you are doing the Surya Namaskar daily 10 to 20, so you can win the blood pressure. And please, as you know that retention of salt is the one of the cause. So if in the hypertension, if someone will take just Muktabati or Brahmi tablet or Medhabati, this kind of Ayurvedic formulation, if someone will take once, twice a day, then 2 times a day in empty stomach, so definitely one can reduce, because it will throw out the excess of salt from the body, and it acts as a diuretic. So I used to manage in this way, and to get right stress, I used to take Brahmi tablet twice a day. For 15 days I took, then it's okay, and if one can take daily one tablet, it is not an issue. So I used to manage like this. Now I'm okay. Thank you.
Thank you. No more hand is raised where?
जी जी.
If there is any further query, time is also over.
जी जी.
It's 8:33. So, should we close now, where?
जी दीदी जी.
So we'll be meeting next week. Again, it was very important topic today. As you yourself told that it's what's the magnitude of people having high blood pressure now all around the world. So if we take care of our health a bit, start taking care if we have not been taking till now, I think we all will be healthy. And health is the first and foremost thing. So we'll meet next week with some further topics with Akhilesh Bhaiya.
जी
Ji Bhaiya?
जी दीदी.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for such an informative session, and thank you all the attendees who took active participation in this discussion over here. Thank you so
Thanks
much.
to everyone.
हम लोग कितने हैं दीदी पार्टिसिपेंट?
भैया अभी तो कुछ लोग लीव भी कर गए, टाइम ओवर हो गया.
नहीं, मैक्सिमम कितने थे?
40 प्लस थे विनोद भैया, 40 प्लस थे.
ठीक है, बहुत अच्छा है. लेकिन दीदी एक बात है, मेरे को ये ऐड करना था. जब मैं इंडस्ट्री में काम करता था उस समय हाइपरटेंसिव कैपेसिटी डेवलप हो रही थी, और उस समय हम मेडिकेशन भी लेते थे, लेकिन अब जरूरत नहीं पड़ती है.
जी बहुत अच्छी बात है भैया.
जी.
So nice.
It's possible with healthy lifestyle. It is possible to reduce or even to be free from medications.
जी भैया, तभी कहा ना, if we take care of our health, and if we have not been taking till now, we should start taking care now. So healthy.
आभार. नमस्ते.
जी नमस्ते.
टू ऑल.
नमस्ते.
सभी को नमस्ते.